They are some of Bahrain's top surgeons and medics, arrested at the start of a crackdown on pro-democracy protests. They've been held in jail for almost 6 months. Their trial in a military court continues. They face charges which include denying medical attention to some patients and stockpiling weapons at the country's main hospital. Bahraini and international human rights organisations have called the trials a farce. On August the 30th, the medics went on hunger strike. Al Jazeera spoke to one of their relatives. She insisted we change her name and hide her identity because she is afraid for her family's safety. She says the medics were tortured into giving false confessions.
All their confessions was by force, under torture, and they were blindfolded. They didn't see what was being written on their confessions, and they just signed it.
Mary didn't see her husband for 3 months after his arrest.
They were beaten with hoses, with sticks. Some of them, they use on them electrical shock.
A spokesman for the United Nations Human Rights Chief says, "We stress that civilians must be tried in civilian courts and that every detained person must be charged with a recognisable criminal offence with adequate access to a lawyer." Mary claims her husband has had virtually no official meetings with his lawyer.
During all these 5.5 months, they are allowed to see their lawyer only once. It was in this month, August, beginning of August.
In a recent speech, Bahrain's king acknowledged that some people had, quote, been ill-treated in custody. He set up what he describes as an independent human rights commission to investigate thousands of claims of abuse since the crackdown began. Members of that panel have visited the detained medics in jail on a number of occasions. Mary says they promised to be at the last court hearing on August the 28th, but they never showed up. She says the medics will continue their hunger strike until their demands are met.
They want fair trial, okay, and they want a repeat of the interrogation, so the truth will appear.
There are now fears that witnesses for the defence, who continue to work at the hospital, which is now run by a military administration, may be stopped from giving evidence at the next hearing, scheduled for September the 7th. Charles Stratford, Al Jazeera.
Well, Adel Al-Mawada is chair of the Parliamentary Foreign Affairs, Defence and National Security in Bahrain, I beg your pardon. He says the medics will get a fair trial in a civilian court.
They will have their lawyers and they will have a civil courts looking to their cases. This everybody knows, is written in the media, the king has said it, and I don't think more than that can be assured. They should thank God to be in Bahrain. If they made this in England, you will know what has happened in England and how they dealt with it.
Well, let's talk now to Khalil Al-Mazrouk. He joins us now live from London. He's a former deputy chairman of Al-Wafaq, the main Shia opposition group in Bahrain. You heard there Mr. Mawada saying that they will get a fair trial. Do you think they will?
Thank you for the interview. No, actually, it's even when you look at the speech of the king, you feel that there is a power struggle with the king issuing a decree, royal decree number 62, to transfer all the trials from military tribunals to normal civilian tribunals. And 2 weeks ago, all we've been surprised that the tribunals is continuing. And this is sort of that you don't feel that the state is run by a control. Like there are several parties trying to take control of the decision in Bahrain. And talking about fair trials in Bahrain, this is not happening, especially in the 5-6 months when people, especially when the medics were brought to the first trial with their pajamas. They don't know even they are being tried. They've been picked up from the jails to the trial rooms without knowing that they are going to the trials, and they've been put in under the sun, which is very hot, for 45 minutes. And only when they get into the trial rooms, they discover that they are being tried. And the first time they met with their families and their lawyers was on 2 months ago. So this is the sort of trials they're talking about. If we're talking about fair trials, is that from the day one or even after a few hours or few days, you have to reach to your family, you have to reach to your lawyer, you have to speak to them independently without oversight from the security, but all of this is not there. We've heard that decree to transfer with the pressure from international NGOs and administration, that these will be transferred to civilian trials. All of a sudden, we found ourselves back to square zero when these people, the medics, and as you said, the topmost professionals in Bahrain, being tried with military tribunals. This is against the Constitution of Bahrain, which is Article 105, saying that civilians should be tried in civilian courts, and only military.
Can you very quickly give us a quick big picture idea of what is happening in Bahrain? As you know, we in the foreign media are not allowed in. Is there any hope of further talks between Wafaq and the government? Any chance of conciliation, some kind of an agreement?
We are open to talks, but serious talk, credible talks that bring stability to Bahrain after establishing a good reform, and reform that the people will accept. What's happening is now a struggle between democracy and dictatorship, and all what you see is that there are people, hardliners within the regime and within the community sometimes, that they are trying to push the democracy transformation backward instead of supporting that. All what the people want is to have their elected government that manage the country and social justice and integration of everyone of the Bahrainis into the administration of the country.
Okay, we'll leave it there. Thank you for talking to us, Khalil Al-Mazrouk in London.